Hey guys, we're going to be talking about some changes you can make to your build this league with Soulrend Aura. And the two changes that I have so far, the first one is I am not using incandescent. I'm using Cherubim's whatever. Alright, so to start crafting your chest piece, in case you want one of these and they're not like on the market, we're going to search for it here. And then for the stat filter, and then click this. Now we search, and they are very cheap, but that's not all we want. So if we click the evasion rating or the armor, it will show us the max amount. So we don't want bad ones, we want decent ones, since there is so many of them. So 1,500, sure. And then for evasion, let's see, 1,800. Now we also want increased chaos damage, at least, let's say 73%. Cool. Now we're seeing like all of the decent gear pieces, right? Now, once we buy our chest piece here, we are going to Val Orb it. And now let's say this is the Val Orb that we wanted. Let's say we got projectile or AoE or duration gem +2 on here. Now we would want to make it have 6 sockets. Sorry, 6 sockets. But it's very expensive. It's 350 Val Orbs. So we are going to go into Faustus here, and we're going to see Val Orb to Divine ratio. That's half a Divine. That's about half a Divine for a 6 socket, right? So if you want to, you can, what's it called, put the 6 sockets on there yourself, or you can just do it this way. This is the way that I did it, because I can't be, I'm not patient enough to sit there and 6 socket everything. Once you get that, you're going to 5 linked sockets it, right? This will be 150 Val Orbs and 150 fusings. And once you have 5 linked sockets on your gear piece, you're going to take it. Alright, and we are going to use a tainted orb of fusing on it. Now what this will do is, let's say this was 5 linked, it would either make it 6 link or 4 link. It's like a 50-50 chance, so I've heard. If that fails, you'll have to take it back to the crafting bench and 5 link it again, and then orb of fusing it again. If you need different colors on it, you can use a tainted chromatic orb. This changes the colors even if it's corrupted. The colors that you get from it is not based on its defense type. What I mean by that is, let's say this chest piece, if this was not corrupted, since it's armor and evasion rating, you are most likely to get red and green sockets. So there will be a much lower chance of you getting this chest piece with like 6 blue sockets. Now if you use a tainted chromatic orb, it doesn't care about that red and green socket stuff. You have the same chance to get a 6 green socket item as you do whatever your build needs. For crafting of the gloves, just get tier 1 defense modifiers, similar to this, where it's all maximum energy shield. And then we want to make sure that the Eater of Worlds is dominant. So, in order to do that, we see that we have Eater of Worlds greater and Searing greater. We would just need to make that Searing lesser, and then when we use our Chaos Orb, we reroll. It does not affect the prefix modifiers. So we got Cold Res for free, basically. We traded the Dexterity on it for Cold Res. You will more than likely always get like one modifier. Eldritch Chaos Orbs are very weighted. So even getting something like this is rare. But once you do get that, remember that you still have a craft on it. I decided to lose my Withering Presence because, number one, I don't really hinder people, so that's a dead stat on this Ascendancy. I don't need Chaos Res, so that's another dead stat. And we already have 2 ways of applying Wither, so that's not really that great. The only reason we're keeping this node is because of 15% more chaos damage. Right? So I sacrificed that. I went to and did Delve and got the Owl Bloodline. And now we're using Precursor's Release. This is very, very strong, right? So, have you ever, like, done an ultimatum? If you have with this build, then you might notice that like the green clouds will slow you to oblivion. What this means is it doesn't stop like movement speed slows from harming you or like slowing you. It only stops anything that affects your action speed. So you can have like 500 movement speed and that still be cut in half and like slowed down. But if something directly affects your action speed, which also affects your cast speed, movement speed, and attack speed, then this will prevent that from happening. So there are a lot of slows on like tier 17 maps that specifically target your action speed. Tips when fighting the Delve guy. If you've never found him before, then I would recommend watching a Delve guide, or I can just like do one. This build should destroy anything that Delve throws at it. So the king guy that gives you your ascendancy for the Auls Ascendency, he spawns anywhere below depth 130, I think. Now you probably won't see him in that time, all the way up at like 130. You'll probably have to go like 100 down or something. But when you do find it, you'll find primeval ruins, right? There'll be a lot of them. Now, you're not looking for these. There will be a face, and it will say the Crystal King's Throne here. And I would highly recommend doing this yourself. When I went and looked to see how much like boss carries were for this, it was like 3 divines. So yeah, this build can definitely handle this boss. I managed to kill this boss when he had Onslaught and he was penetrating elemental res, so he was like legitimately one-shotting me. This boss is one of those bosses that have so many spammable abilities that a lot of them will one-shot you because he is a one-shot boss. That is his purpose. His purpose is to one-shot you. So with that, if you get bad modifiers and you're really deep in the mines, he might just straight up like just one tap you at hyper speeds, right? Like what if he got haste? What if he got etc.? So you could get unlucky there. Always make sure you're watching that, but the build should be able to handle him. You got to learn his patterns though. Some of his abilities you can't just like dodge and be done with it, right? So, some tips on him in case you do fight him. One of his animations, he summons a bunch of like spikes and he sends them out in all directions. Whenever he does that animation, he'll flick his arm before he does it, and at that moment, you need to blink behind him, right? Because those spikes, like they were hitting me for like 9,000 damage. Like they were one tapping me, absolutely one tapping me. I had like 83 res, 85 res actually, against cold res, and he still tapped me. At 90% physical damage reduction, he will still tap you. Still one tap you. It's a very deadly move. All you have to do is blink behind him whenever he casts the ability. Another ability is he will try to sword you a lot, like whirling strike you. Um, Try to like pace his movements every time he whirling strikes and move, and then fire, move, fire. You get the theme.